In Rome, power was everything, and none hungered for it more than Julius Caesar. Governor of Gaul, he saw not just land to administer, but a stage for glory. While senators in Rome schemed, Caesar marched north, where wild tribes roamed the forests and rivers, proud and free. The Gauls, fierce warriors bound by loyalty to their chieftains, had defied Rome before. But Caesar sought not peace, he sought conquest. Each battle would not just expand Rome, but carve his name into eternity. In 58 BC, the Helvetii, a migrating tribe, moved across Roman lands. Caesar intercepted them at Bibracte. His legions, disciplined and iron-willed, clashed with the massive horde. Dust filled the sky, shields locked, swords thrust, and the Helvetii broke. Thousands lay dead, and Caesar's reputation as Rome's savior began to grow. But Gaul was not one tribe. It was a mosaic of dozens, proud and divided. Caesar knew he could conquer them only by striking swiftly, exploiting rivalries, and crushing resistance with fire and steel. Unlike the Gauls, who fought with passion, Rome fought with discipline. Each legion was a machine, soldiers drilled to perfection, engineers who built bridges in days, fortifications in hours. Where the legions marched, roads followed, camps rose, and the eagle standard pierced the sky. The Gauls fought bravely, but bravery was no match for precision. One by one, tribes fell. Caesar sent prisoners to slavery, seized treasure, and wrote letters to Rome describing his triumphs. But beneath his victories, whispers grew. Caesar was not just conquering for Rome, he was conquering for himself. Amidst the chaos, a shadow began to rise, a leader who would unite the tribes against Rome. His name was Vercingetorix, and his fire would soon ignite a storm that even Caesar could not ignore. The stage was set. The Gallic Wars had begun, and history would remember them as a struggle not just for land, but for the destiny of empires. After Bibracte, Caesar's victories multiplied.
He crushed the Belgae in the north, crossed into the mysterious land of the Britons, and even built a bridge across the mighty Rhine to intimidate the Germanic tribes. His legions were unstoppable, their discipline unmatched, their general always at the front, sharing danger with his men. Yet the more Caesar triumphed, the more Gaul burned. Entire villages were razed, fields destroyed, prisoners slaughtered. To the Gauls, Rome was not a liberator. It was a storm of iron and fire. Amid this suffering, a young chieftain rose, Vercingetorix of the Arverni. Charismatic, cunning, and ruthless, he called for unity. For centuries, the tribes had fought one another, but now they faced a common enemy. His words ignited their spirit. Better to die free than to live as Rome's slaves. One by one, tribes rallied to his banner. Gaul was awakening. Vercingetorix knew he could not match Rome in open battle. Instead, he waged war through fire. Fields were burned, towns abandoned, supplies destroyed. Rome would find no food, no shelter, no quarter. At Gergovia, the Gauls struck hard. Caesar's forces, overextended, were repelled with heavy losses. For the first time, the invincible Roman war machine staggered. Whispers spread. Perhaps Rome could be defeated. But Caesar was relentless. His genius lay not just in tactics, but in will. He adapted, striking fast, cutting off rebel supplies, crushing smaller bands, and punishing defectors with merciless severity. His men, hardened by years of campaigning, followed him into every storm, their loyalty unbroken. Still, Vercingetorix remained defiant. He retreated to a fortress no army had ever taken, Alesia. There, he would make his stand. In 52 BC, Vercingetorix and his warriors retreated to Alesia, a stronghold perched on a hill, surrounded by rivers and steep slopes. With him were tens of thousands of Gauls, and outside, he called for every tribe to send reinforcements. If Gaul would be free, it would be here. For Caesar, Alesia was both a trap and an opportunity. If he could break the Gauls here, all resistance would die. If he failed, Rome itself would tremble. Caesar did not attack. Instead, he built. His legions encircled the fortress, raising fortifications stretching for miles. Ditches, wooden towers, spiked barricades, deadly traps hidden in the earth. The Gauls inside would starve, but Caesar knew reinforcements would come. So he built a second wall, facing outward, encircling his army. Rome was now besieging a fortress while bracing for an army that could surround them. It was war within war, a double ring of iron. Soon they came. Hundreds of thousands of Gauls storming across the plains to break Caesar's grip. From within Alesia, Vercingetorix's warriors charged down the slopes. From without, wave after wave crashed against Roman walls. The earth shook with the thunder of war. Arrows darkened the sky, cavalry clashed in the fields. Siege engines groaned as Gauls hurled their fury. At one point, the Romans nearly broke. A breach opened, the outer wall trembling, and Caesar himself rode to the front. Cloaked in crimson, he rallied his men with fire in his voice. This day decides Rome's destiny. With renewed fury, the legions held. The Gauls were driven back, their cries swallowed by the clash of iron. Starvation consumed the defenders. The reinforcements, broken and bloodied, withdrew. Vercingetorix, proud to the end, donned his finest armor, mounted his horse, and rode out before Caesar. He dismounted, removed his sword, and laid it at his feet. Alesia had fallen. Gaul had fallen, and with it, the last hope of freedom. The fall of Alesia was not just a defeat. It was the death of Gallic freedom. The tribes surrendered one by one, their leaders chained, their warriors sold into slavery, their lands absorbed into the vast dominion of Rome. What had once been wild forests and proud clans was now a province under the eagle standard. For Caesar, the victory was absolute. His conquest of Gaul brought him wealth beyond imagination. Treasure, slaves, soldiers loyal not to the Senate but to him. The legions cheered his name, and Rome trembled at the power he had forged. Vercingetorix, the symbol of Gallic resistance, was kept alive. Chained in iron, he was dragged to Rome, paraded through the streets in Caesar's triumph. The crowd roared at Caesar's glory, but when the parade ended, the Gallic king was executed, a final reminder of Rome's ruthless supremacy. Yet his defiance lived on in legend. The warrior who united Gaul and dared to defy Rome's greatest general. In Rome, Caesar's triumph was like no other. Chariots of gold, exotic animals, and the spoils of Gaul dazzled the people. Behind it all marched the legions, hardened by years of blood and battle. They did not cry for Rome. They cried for Caesar. The Senate, fearful of his growing power, watched uneasily. For they knew that a man who commanded such loyalty was no mere general. He was a king in all but name. The Gallic wars were more than conquest. They were the forge in which Caesar's destiny was shaped. With Gaul subdued, his fame soared higher than any rivals. his legions unmatched, his ambition unstoppable. Soon he would march not against tribes or foreign kings, but against Rome itself. The Rubicon awaited, and with it, the death of the Republic and the birth of an empire. And so ended the Gallic Wars. A tale of fire and blood, of ambition and resistance, where one man's hunger for glory reshaped the world.